Hello, I'm Professor Mark Grabowski, the architect of the Cyber Law course. Today we'll dive into a hot internet law topic that's long stirred quite a bit of debate over the years in the United States, and that is network neutrality. Through this brief lecture, I'll try to demystify this concept and illuminate its significance in our digital lives. Network neutrality, sometimes referred to as the open internet, is the principle that all internet service providers, or ISPs for short, should treat all internet data equally. Imagine the internet as a highway, where every car, regardless of its size, make, or model, gets to drive at the same speed. No toll booths, no fast lanes, just open roads for everyone. But what if some cars were allowed to zoom ahead, while others had to crawl? This is where the net neutrality debate heats up. As of 2024, net neutrality is back in the United States. The Federal Communications Commission, which is the U.S. government agency that regulates internet service providers, narrowly voted to reinstate these regulations. This issue marks a significant policy divide between Republicans and Democrats, and it's possible that this policy could change depending on which party is in control. So let's explore both sides of this debate to understand why it's such a contentious issue. First, here's the case for net neutrality. Supporters of net neutrality argue that it is crucial for preserving free speech online. By preventing ISPs from blocking or throttling traffic, net neutrality ensures that everyone has equal access to information and services. This principle safeguards against anti-competitive practices, and it protects consumers from being charged extra fees for accessing certain websites, especially data-heavy sites like Netflix. Imagine you run a small business online. Without net neutrality, a larger competitor could pay an ISP to slow down access to your website, driving your customers away. Net neutrality levels the playing field, fostering innovation and competition. Now let's examine the argument against net neutrality. Opponents of net neutrality contend that heavy-handed government regulation stifles innovation and investment in critical internet infrastructure. They argue that ISPs should have the flexibility to manage their networks efficiently and charge higher fees for high bandwidth services in order to fund improvements and expansion. Consider the COVID-19 pandemic, when internet traffic surged as people worked and learned from home. ISPs managed this increased demand effectively, prioritizing essential services like video conferencing over less critical stuff like video games. Such flexibility would have been hindered by strict net neutrality rules. So those are the two sides. As you can probably tell, network neutrality is a complicated issue, and there are good arguments on both sides. And both sides of the debate tend to exaggerate their claims. The federal government has been going back and forth on net neutrality for decades, with its status hinging on who controls the presidency. Here's a brief history. In 2017, President Trump repealed the net neutrality policy adopted by President Obama, and it led to mixed results. During the 7-year period that the United States did not have net neutrality, the internet experienced both positive and negative changes. While some ISPs reduced investment in infrastructure, others argued that the internet remained robust and adaptable, especially during the pandemic. This resilience demonstrated that ISPs could manage traffic without strict regulations. After winning election in 2020, President Biden promised to restore net neutrality laws, and he finally did so in 2024. However, a federal appeals court struck down Biden's network neutrality order, ruling that the federal government lacked the authority to regulate internet service providers like utilities. And now, with Donald Trump returning to office in 2025, it looks like things will remain that way for a while, and we won't see a renewed push for network neutrality at the federal level. Now, given all this waffling and uncertainty at the federal level, many states have started implementing their own net neutrality laws for internet service providers operating within their borders. So stay tuned. Net neutrality is likely something you will hear about again, and policies could change. Well, this has been Professor Grabowski. Thanks for watching.